we have a few questions on Secure by Design. What are your thoughts on the practical implementation of its various elements? We start with you, Georgie.
So I think the guidance is really helpful. What it does is really reinforce that it's a whole program-wide issue. This is no longer just the domain of the CISO and the security teams. It's very much incumbent on all of us across the enterprise, across the ecosystem, across our supplier networks to really embed security in everything that we do. I think we're starting to see clients pulling us into the conversations very early on now. The whole concept of Secure by Design is really well understood, or is becoming more understood by our clients, and we're getting pulled in rather than having to push our way in, which is maybe where we've been in the past. I think the whole guidance, it kind of drives that mind shift change within not just the security arena, but within the wider IT landscape. And that mind shift change is really being adopted, and people are understanding that it's their personal responsibility, even as a user, for you to be integral to the security of the applications that you use. I think we're starting to see that Secure by Design mantra of embedding it right at the very beginning of a delivery is really important, and people are really adopting that. So again, another big tick. And I think the other thing that we are starting to see is that the tenders that come out to the market focus a lot more on security now. I think there's still more work that we can do in that space. Making sure that we all feel accountability, that when security isn't being called out, that we stand up and we make the point that security needs to be embedded in everything we do. So I think from that perspective, the guidance has become really helpful. It's making it more of a conversation topic now.
Thanks, Georgie. What would you add, Scott?
Yeah, so I'm going to agree, obviously, with Georgie and what she said there. What I like is that although it appears initially that there's lots of pieces of Secure by Design guidance, they are kind of targeted at different elements inside the whole supply chain. So looking at it from a Palo Alto Networks perspective as a vendor, then there's some really good, strong Secure by Design guidance on how products should not only be built, but how they should be maintained once they're in their service as well. So that piece really helps us as a vendor to support our customers and our partners when they take our components and use them to build bigger systems. And that's where the some of the more let's say architectural or organizational pieces of Secure by Design come in very handy and very effective to do that, because as Georgie says, it focuses not just on the technology, but on the people and the other processes as well. So some of the guidance talks about assigning responsibility for cybersecurity, making sure that secure product selection is done, make sure that there's defense and depth and so on the protection side, but it also covers the response and recovery side as well. So all of this, as Georgie was saying, is pushing these and embedding these secure ideas into the hands of our customers and ultimately protecting their operations. And I like what Georgie was saying about making people feel really, really part of it, because what I've always noted the parallel with the total quality management movement of the 1990s, where everybody is responsible for their piece of the quality chain, and we have to have exactly the same thing for cybersecurity as well. You need to understand your role and your responsibilities, passing on you're part of the chain. So if Secure by Design is an effective method for embedding that in organizations, then I think we will all benefit from it.
Thank you, Scott. So a follow-up question is, thinking about how we then take this into production. Georgie, how would you overcome the challenges of implementation, including the retrofitting of Secure by Design principles?
So I think when we're starting from scratch on a project, security is intrinsically embedded. The Secure by Design principle prevails, right? The more challenging environment, as you say, Dan, is where we are trying to embed security retrospectively. A lot of organizations, a lot of applications were built either, we talked earlier around the cloud era as well, and how there was this rush to drive businesses into the cloud so that you could capitalize on the benefits that the cloud brought, but have done that at the expense of the security. So now we're finding that we're having to retrospectively fit a lot of security back into applications that are already in existence. I think the key thing is around those core principles. It's about understanding your entire ecosystem. It's about understanding where the threat actors are likely to want to invade and be able to protect against that threat landscape. So for me, I think that's broadly how it's more difficult.
Can we elaborate a bit on what we can do about it?
Yeah, so I think certainly from our perspective, we run a series of threat and risk analysis. We work collaboratively with our clients to really understand the threat landscape that they're under, where the deficiencies have been in the previous legacy to IT, and how we can then plug those gaps repeatedly as we go through the remediation program that we'll be undertaking for them. So it really is about that understanding where the gaps are and how we're going to plug those with good cybersecurity that takes us forward.
Thanks, Georgie. Scott, how does Secure by Design support robust cyber resilience?
So I think that is actually the key question, because we have to understand why we want to do Secure by Design, and ultimately it is all about increasing the cyber resilience of our organizations. I mean, we know that with the introduction of new technologies like AI, that if they are going to have those productivity gains and those benefits, they must be secure by design from the very beginning. So if we can use Secure by Design as a way of embedding these really good ideas around responsibility, ownership, governance, selection into the whole process, then we can expect that the output of these systems that we are creating will have less operational risk associated with them, which means that we can expect them to be more cyber resilient in the future, because the whole of the life cycle and the supply chain has been taken into consideration as part of their creation.
Well, thanks to you both for some practical guidance on how to operationalise Secure by Design guidance. This is part of a partnership series that we've been running called Securing Tomorrow, which you can follow on any of your favourite social media platforms. You can also check in the links below for details of the recent white paper that IBM's Institute of Business Value put together on the benefits of platformisation, which was referenced during our discussion. Thank you for your time.